Hello, everyone. My name is Shanae Bryan, and I am the contracted epidemiologist at the Governor's Office of Highway Safety. Today, I'm going to talk about the Problem ID section component of the grantee application. The problem identification section is an application requirement. It is a section within the EGOS platform that you will be required to submit a narrative or a statement that describes in great detail traffic concerns and problems and causes of motor vehicle crashes are in your geographical area. This year, we are requiring that grantees submit at least 5 consecutive years of local data or statewide data that describes the problem in their region. We are also requiring that grantees provide some demographic information and data that describes the population and the group that they are reaching with their programmatic strategies and countermeasures to address motor vehicle crashes in their area. The problem identification has many purposes. The biggest purpose is to be able to articulate and to understand what are the causes and the contributing factors of motor vehicle crashes in your region. After you develop a strong problem ID narrative, you are able to then think of and brainstorm and even look at best practices and research of effective countermeasures and strategies that addresses your problem. These could be NHTSA countermeasures or even evidence-based practices or best practices that have shown some type of proof, evidence, or promising results of addressing specific issues that you have identified in your problem statement. Another reason to have a strong problem ID is that it will help you develop strong evaluation objectives. Amanda Jackson will talk about this later in the program assessment section. But the strong evaluation objectives are basically the outcomes of your work. It's basically developing measures and goals to track what you're doing and whether or not you are actually making progress within the causes of crashes that you have identified in your problem statement. What's working, what's not working. These are what having a strong problem ID could help you develop evaluation measures so you will be able to answer those questions. And the last reason for having a strong problem ID is that it would allow you to leverage and obtain the additional supports that you may need. That includes funding from GOHS and support from other community partners and organizations that agree with your problem ID and that want to support it by offering additional resources such as personnel, funding, to help you implement effective programs that addresses the problems in the area. Each year, the Governor's Office of Highway Safety updates our Highway Safety Plan. In our Highway Safety Plan, there are 12 traffic safety performance measures that are tracked each year. These are the traffic measures include traffic fatalities, serious injuries, unrestrained fatalities, speeding related fatalities, alcohol related fatalities, and even those for non-motorists such as pedestrian bicyclists. We also monitor the number of young drivers involved in fatal crashes. Why I'm presenting this here within the problem ID section is because we want to encourage our grantees to actually be in alignment with our statewide objectives that we track each year. While we are focusing our efforts and funding and supporting grantees to implement programs at their state level and concentrating efforts such as speeding in their area, the goal is that the work that you're doing is actually contributing to the statewide movement of improving speed-related crashes across all counties. So we want to be able to encourage you to identify the problems in your region and have alignment with our state goals. That way, by funding you and supporting you, the state as a whole could actually move the needle and demonstrate progress across these performance measures that we are tracking and that we submit to our federal partners each year. So what are the characteristics of a strong problem ID? They include the 5 W's, the who, the what, the when, the where, and the why. Who? Who is it that you're serving? Are they children? Are they older adults? Are they teens? What demographic population are you trying to reach? Are they all drivers in your county, or is there a certain subsection of that? What is the problem in your area? Is it alcohol? Is it speed? Is it distracted driving? When are these crashes occurring or these risky driving behaviors occurring? Are they occurring in the daytime, in the nighttime, on weekends, maybe specific holidays? There are some performance measures that have a seasonality to it. Pedestrians and motorcyclists and bicyclist fatalities tend to decrease in the wintertime because those individuals who engage in those activities are not out in the cold. So being able to describe that in your problem ID shows that you understand the contributing factors to a deeper level. Where are these crashes occurring? Are they occurring in school districts? Are they occurring on rural roads, intersections, crosswalks, if you're looking at pedestrian fatalities? And why are they occurring? There are data sources out there such as Numetrics, and other research that you could use that shows why certain types of crashes are occurring. And we want to encourage you to understand what are the contributing factors and the causes of what's happening to the best of your knowledge and to your degree. So this is an example of a problem identification, and just to give you an idea of how to put in these components, how to weave them into a narrative that actually shows and demonstrate that you understand what's going on in your specific region. Let's dive in and we could break it apart. ABC County is a Fayette County, of course, has a growing population of young drivers ages 15 to 20 years of age. Okay, there we go. We understand the where and we also understand the who. The who are young drivers, and we have a specific age group that we're looking at within ABC County. In 2018, 75% of ABC County young residents had a license to drive. This was obtained in the data sources. We have brackets from the 2010 census and also from the Department of Driver Services. This is a good sentence because it shows what the demographic that you're serving. You are serving young drivers, young individuals, residents that have a license to drive. We are also encouraging grantees to list the data sources, just simply putting them in parentheses or incorporating it in the text in some kind of way. And what that shows us is that what data sources, what information, how are you getting your information, and making sure that we are in alignment. Are you pulling from the same data sources that we are? And also, what's the year of your most recent data available? This could even be your agency level citation data. Let's continue. Since 2015, there has been an increase in the number of young drivers involved in fatal crashes. This is a key sentence here because now you're demonstrating that you are in alignment with our traffic safety performance measures that we use and that we update each year. We look at core performance number 9, I believe this is, or 10, the number of young drivers involved in fatal crashes. Perfect alignment there. The number of young drivers involved in fatal crashes doubled from 10 drivers in 2015 to 20 drivers in 2019. And here again, we have in brackets 2015 to 2019, and this was pulled from FARS. That's the Fatality Analysis Reporting System hosted by NHTSA. So again, here we're listing the data sources. We're showing 5 years of trending data so that we got our application requirement in. And you're also showing that you are taking this statewide measure that GOHS is looking at and localizing it and centralizing it and making it specific to your community. How is your community contributing to the statewide contribution or values of young drivers involved in crashes? Let's continue. According to GDOT Numetrics, this is another way of reporting and referencing your data, GDOT Numetrics. Majority of the ABC County serious injury crashes involving young drivers in 2018 were, here are the contributing factors. They were caused by speeding, improper lane usage, and driving while distracted. So here we get the what and the why. Why are these crashes occurring? And this is coming from Numetric. Nearly half, 49% of all of ABC County crashes involving young drivers occurred on state roads. That's the where. So not only are we looking at county where, but we're looking at road type where and in the daytime hours. So again, this is just an example of how to synthesize all the components of a strong problem identification piece and putting it all together in a narrative that shows that you understand the problems that are going on in your region. If you are submitting a renewal application, we want to encourage you to look at and revisit the problems in your area. We have provided as part of our packet, it's called the Problem ID Planning Sheet. And in that planning sheet, we have many data fields, blank fields, and data sources put together by our team that you could go in and extract data specific to your region and insert it into this sheet. You could look at speed, alcohol, pedestrians, you could look at population by age, and even driving information, driving licensing information obtained from DDS. We want to encourage you to use these data sources that are there. We are a data-driven agency, and just to revisit what are the problems in your area. Typically, when we do applications, we have an idea of the programs and the strategies that we want to implement and then find the problem. We are encouraging our grantees to really use the planning sheet and identify what are the true real problems happening in your area. Then develop and research what are the countermeasures and the strategies that are evidence-based or best practices that could really help you move the needle and address the problem severity in your area. So this is just a goal and a way for you to incorporate data, data sources, and be in alignment with our statewide objectives.
As discussed, there are many sources of data and information that you could use to inform your application, but I would like to highlight two recent resources that are available, and the hyperlinks to those are in the appendices of the RFP. To help the applicants obtain traffic data, numbers, and also to align with the data and information that is going to be used by GOHS to evaluate the applications, there are two documents available. These are the Georgia Traffic Safety Facts, which are pictured here, and also the new Problem ID County Worksheets that I referred to earlier. The Georgia Traffic Safety Facts are a series of publications that were collaboratively developed by the Crash Outcomes Data Evaluation Systems, as codes, and also the Traffic Records Committee. The aim of these fact sheets is to combine all information from traffic records that includes crash, driver, vehicle, roadway, citation, adjudications, even serious injury surveillance from EMS, trauma, hospital discharge, emergency room, and vital records, is to combine all of these data sources to paint a comprehensive picture of what the traffic safety issues look like on Georgia roadways. So these fact sheets are intended to be used by a variety of disciplines, and they're very robust. The topics covered in the 2019 publication series is one, the overview of motor vehicle crashes in 2019. Then there's another document for non-motorists, which includes pedestrians and bicyclists, another for distracted driving, motorcycle safety, occupant protection, young drivers, and older drivers. So grantees are encouraged to read these. Some of these documents also include an appendices, which gives you county by county breakdown of the topic area that you are reviewing. The last new resource I would like to call your attention to is the Problem ID County Worksheets. This is a new data source. It's a Tableau data dashboard here where you could easily extract various traffic safety measures for your county and across a variety of topics. The topics include overall traffic crashes that include risky driving, and also licensed drivers and the types of drivers that are involved in certain crashes. Also here, you could take a look at non-motorists, motorcyclists, and occupant protection. And you're also able to filter this data by the county that you are interested in.
In the next screen here, this is where you are going to copy and paste your narrative into EGOS, the grant application platform. Unfortunately, it currently does not have the functionality to accept images such as charts or pictures or graphs, but we do want to encourage you to still be able to visually display your data and your information. And you have an opportunity to do that in the document attachment section of EGOS. You could support and you can attach and upload any documents that could support any part of your grant application submission, those within the problem ID and outside. But examples of information that you could upload includes the problem ID planning sheet that is now available on the GOHS website, that shows that, yeah, I've looked at all the data that's available for my region, and I have identified that problem A, speeding is a priority, and problem B, pedestrian is the next priority. So we highly encourage you to use that planning sheet along with the data sources that has been put together by the GOHS team. You could upload charts, graphs that shows the 5-year trended data for all the crashes and fatal crashes and population level, age level, so you could really dive in and get a true understanding of your problem. You could also upload the demographic information. How many schools are in your area? What's your potential reach based on your program? How far do you think you could really reach and make a difference in terms of individuals that are at risk of risky driving behaviors that you are studying and that you are trying to reach? You could also upload letters of support from community members and organizations that agree with your problem identification and that support you in this way in perhaps leveraging additional resources such as funding or personnel and equipment. There's many other ways to support your effort. And then you could also upload your agency procurement policy. So this is basically covers what the problem identification section is. And again, I want to reinforce that if you are submitting a grant renewal application, is to revisit your problem identification. While you have perhaps implemented effective strategies within the past, that has worked, such as speeding, you do want to continue to do this problem ID assessment to see if any new problems have emerged in your area. That doesn't necessarily mean that you may change your strategy that addresses speeding, but it may mean that you're going to do additional outreach to address secondary issues and other priorities that are emerging in your county that are also in great alignment with the GOHS objective. Thank you so much for your time, and this concludes this part of this presentation.